You know, sometimes I find a game and I play it for ages and I'm like, man, this is a really good game. That game for me recently has been Mario Kart World, the new Mario Kart from Nintendo on the Switch 2. And I've been really enjoying it, man. It's a really fun game. But there's just one problem with it. It's not enough! I need more! I'm hungry. I hunger. I starve for more content within the game. I want to be able to give more money to Nintendo and to Shiggy. Shiggy, just take the money. And how am I supposed to give my money to Nintendo and how am I supposed to give my money to Shiggy if there's no content for me to buy? So let's give them some ideas for content to add to Mario Kart World. You know, I had this video a couple days ago. Actually, I can recreate exactly how I thought of it. Man, Mario Kart World, I mean, sure is fun, but like, what am I supposed to do? There's not enough content. I've played all the tracks already. I've played 1 billion races online. I just don't know what to do now. I need more. I need more. I need more tracks, more characters, more content. What if I made a video about this content I want? Man, I'm such a genius. So before we fully get into what I want as DLC, let's get into what's actually in the game right now, so we work with a bit of a baseline here. Currently in the game, Mario Kart World has 30 tracks, over 100 different intermissions, and 50 characters to choose from, most of which are NPC characters, which are just enemy characters. Now the first thing I'd want to amend here is those enemy characters. Some of these aren't even enemy characters. These are normal mainline characters. Why are these cast as enemy NPC characters? What's wrong with Nintendo? Dry Bones, as you can probably tell, is one of my favorite Mario characters ever. However, Nintendo completely sidelined him as an NPC character. They didn't give him any costumes, but they gave Shy Guy costumes despite the fact Shy Guy's been in less games than him. I don't know why Nintendo's so racist against Dry Bones, but they just are, and it's really upsetting for me. I mean, I just want to play some Dry Bones here, and Nintendo's up here saying, no, you can't have extra costumes for him. You're gonna play the base Dry Bones every single time. Base Dry Bones, don't get me wrong, is amazing. I just want more. I think, really, all the characters in Mario Kart World are deserving of equality. So I think all of them should have at least one costume style. Now, I'm not going to make a costume style for every single one of them, because, well, I just don't know how I'm going to make a costume style for something like Conqueror. However, I'll make a costume style for a couple of them. Wiggler, for example, could have just something simple, like some sort of plant-themed costume. Maybe a gardening-type costume on him. Dry Bones. Man, there's so much they could do with Dry Bones. They've already had a costume for Dry Bones in Mario Kart Tour, Golden Dry Bones. I would have loved Golden Dry Bones. If Nintendo added Golden Dry Bones to the game, I'd be playing him right now, but I can't because he's not there. And not just Golden Dry Bones, but something like just Dry Bones with some sort of top hat. I'd love a Dry Bones that had a top hat and a monocle and a little suit on him. That would be amazing. And an idea that I've heard from a lot of people that I don't even know how I didn't think of this one myself. Some sort of Mexican-themed Day of the Dead mariachi Dry Bones. This would work so perfectly. He already has an entire track for him that's based around Day of the Dead and a lot of Mexican themes there. Why don't they make this outfit for him? It would be amazing. Waluigi already has one. It wouldn't be that difficult for them to do this. A couple other characters you can make great outfits for would be someone like Hammer Bro. Hammer Bro would be so easy to make outfits for. Just add the other forms of Hammer Bro like Fire Bro or Ice Bro. This is such a simple fix, Nintendo. I don't know how they didn't even think of this one. This one would have been so easy to implement. They already have these character models. Why aren't they using them? Pianta as well would be a great character to give an outfit for. They already have an amazing outfit for him. Like Judge one in Mario Sunshine. That would have worked perfectly for Pianta. It would have been so simple to add, but they didn't. Why not, Nintendo? Please! Not just outfits for characters though. There are some characters that are completely missing from the roster. Just why are they missing? For example, half the Kongs. They kept Donkey Kong, but they asked Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, which was never actually in a Mario Kart, but we'd still love to see her. Funky Kong, and they could have added some other Kongs as well, like Cranky Kong. I just don't know why they've not added these characters. These are simple characters that people would have loved to have in the game. They've just decided to not add them for, well, seemingly no reason. Who are we gonna add to the new Mario Kart? I just don't know. Get out of here with Cranky Kong and your original characters. What are you, insane? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The fishbone character? Yeah, we need that. We need the skeleton fish. That's what we really want. I don't know what's up with Nintendo with some of these character choices and non-character choices? Dr. Egad was originally supposed to be a Mario Kart DS, and that would have been a great character add, but they just didn't have him for... Why? Why isn't Dr. Egad in the game? It makes no sense. Would they really want to Conqueror that badly? Also, they axed all the Koopalings from Mario Kart 8. Now, I understand a lot of people hated the Koopalings in Mario Kart 8. Hell, I was one of them. The reason we hate the Koopalings is because they were taking up character slots that could have been taken up by original characters. But that doesn't mean just add every single enemy character that's ever existed. That means add actually good originals. Any character I could think of would be better than like half of the roster of Mario Kart World. They're just random enemies. I'm not saying I don't want them in the game. What I am saying, however, is I want some of the actual original characters in the game that people would want to play actively. I was really expecting them to add every character that's been in a previous Mario Kart before. I was expecting characters like Paratrooper to make their final comeback, but no, Paratrooper's still relegated to Double Dash. I know Paratrooper's essentially just a reskinned Koopa Troopa, but I like Paratrooper. He's cool! I mean, come on, you can't look at that and say this isn't peak character design. Another character that absolutely baffles me as to why it wasn't added into the game was the Miis. Miis would have been such a simple addition. They've been in every game since Wii. Why did they axe them? People love playing as themselves. People are actively narcissists. Why would you not do that? But of course, the characters aren't the only thing I'd want in a DLC. I wouldn't just want Paratrooper, Miis, and that one Kong. I want plenty of other things as well, such as tracks. One thing Mario Kart is absolutely renowned for are, well, it's tracks, obviously. It's a kart game. You have to race somewhere, so the tracks are where you'd race. And Mario Kart World isn't that much different from other Mario Karts in the fact that it has 30 individual courses. Only 30. Which is coming down from the 96 that were in 8 Deluxe if you had the DLC. Now, I was not expecting them to add a whole new 96 tracks. That would be ludicrous. I was expecting at least something like 48. Even something like 48 tracks would have been so much better. That's a whole other 18 tracks that they're just not adding. Why, Nintendo? These are tracks that could have been great that people would have loved. For example, any Super Circuit track ever. Have you noticed the fact that in the game, there are actually no Super Circuit tracks? Why, Nintendo? What's up with the Super Circuit hate? Whenever I've told someone to this, the first thing they'll say is, but Super Circuit's bad. I hate Super Circuit. It's a bad game. And what I have to say to those people are two things. Number one, no, it's not a bad game. You just have a skill issue. And number two, tracks can be remade to be better. In Mario Kart World itself, Wario's Stadium is in that game, and that was from the N64, and that's one of the worst tracks that has ever existed in Mario Kart. Wario Stadium used to be my least favorite track that has ever existed within the series, straight up. But now it's one of my favorites in Mario Kart World. I love the new version. Tracks can be remade to be good, so why not add some Super Circuit tracks in? They already did it with 8 with things like Ribbon Road or Cheese Land. They know they can do this. They're just deciding not to for some reason. The lack of Super Circuit tracks, it just baffles me. Not a single track from Mario Kart Super Circuit for seemingly no reason, and there's a lot of great picks. For example, they added back Desert Hills for some reason, despite the fact that's already been remade in Wii, but they could have added Yoshi Desert if they really needed a desert track, and that would have been a great desert track to add from the GBA. They could have also added a Retro Rainbow Road like they had in 7 and 8. They could have added GBA Rainbow Road, and I would have absolutely loved it. GBA Rainbow Road is one of the most unique Rainbow Roads to have existed in Mario Kart, and it would have been a great one they could have remade. I would have loved to see this come back. So why couldn't they remake it? I don't know, they just decided not to. I guess they wanted all the attention to be on the new Rainbow Road, which I'll admit, I really do love the new one, but GBA Rainbow Road, it would have been such a nice thing to have. Even if it was the only GBA track in the game, I would have really appreciated it just for being there, because it's a really good track they could have remade so well. People in the game love to exploit shortcuts and everything. This track is full of shortcuts that could have existed. The amount of possibilities for amazing, intense shortcuts on this track are insane, and yet they just decided to can it for no reason. I don't know Why? There's also GBA Bowser's Castle 4, which was remade in Tour, and people thought they were going to bring it back in 8, but they just didn't for some reason. But they never brought it back in World either. Why? Why not bring back Bowser's Castle 4? It would have been such an amazing track, especially the Tour remake, which absolutely remade it from the ground up. Even something as simple as Luigi's Circuit from Mario Kart Super Circuit had such a unique idea with its rain and everything that I would have loved to see it there, but it just isn't. Nintendo, they really are weird with how they do things like this. They added so many absolutely amazing tracks that people wanted back for ages, like Toad's Factory or Airship Fortress, but then they added Moo Moo Meadows, despite the fact we've had an 8 for the past, 10 years. To be fair, I know why they added Moo Moo Meadows. It was just to add the cow as a character, but still, come on, they could have added Moo Moo Farm for that, which is at the very least a different track. But it's not just Super Circuit tracks I'd love to be in this game. No, there's some other tracks I'd also absolutely adore if they were in this game. For example, the best track to have ever existed in Mario Kart. Mushroom City! The best track I have ever played on. I love this track so much. Why isn't it in the game? Honestly, I would have been more than fine if Crown City got replaced by Mushroom City because I love Mushroom City so much. And honestly, I think they should have replaced Crown City with Mushroom City. You wanna know why? Because they could have replaced Crown Bridge with Mushroom Bridge. I mean, could have had both of them in game, but they didn't. Why, Nintendo? Why did you do this? Mushroom City, I've been hoping for this track for so long to come back to Mario Kart since Double Dash, but it's just not come back. Ever since the first time I played Double Dash and played on Mushroom City, I've loved the track. I've absolutely adored it. It's been so fun. It's just such a fun, chaotic track that's different from other nighttime city tracks like Singapore Speedway or Moonview Highway, where they feel a little bit more serious, a little bit more intense when you're racing. Mushroom City feels so goofy, and I love that about it. I don't know why they've not brought it back. It would be such an amazing retro track to bring back, and they've still not done it. But some of the other GameCube tracks as well, I mean, they just didn't really give GameCube that many good tracks. There's 2 GCN tracks in the game, and that's Peach Beach and Dino Dino Jungle, and well, both of these tracks have already been remade before. I don't know why they've brought back, out of every single GCN track, they could bring back these 2, when there's ones that just haven't ever been remade. Mushroom City, of course, I've already mentioned that, but even tracks like GBA's Rainbow Road, its Bowser's Castle, or Wario Coliseum, which would have been such an amazing track with the new physics in Mario Kart World. Everything is amazing when it comes to movement in Mario Kart World. It is such a step up. But why didn't they add tracks like Wario Coliseum? Mario Coliseum would have been one of the best tracks they could have added to Mario Kart World, and they just haven't. I would love to see it in a DLC. I would have loved to see it in the base game, to be honest, and it's such a missed opportunity. It would have worked so amazingly well, but they never added it because, well, I don't really know why. There's a couple of things I would love to see in a DLC package, though. Things such as more battle modes. Now, I've actually played a little bit of battle mode on Mario Kart World, and I will say it's actually not that bad. I actually kind of like battle mode in Mario Kart World. It's actually somewhat fun, especially if you're playing online. However, there's only 2 modes. There was like 5 of these in 8 Deluxe. Why couldn't you have added some of these? I mean, any of the 8 Deluxe modes would have been great to add here, and I would have loved to play a couple of them. I'm gonna say, I don't play much battle mode. I've played barely any of battle mode, but of the battle mode I have played, especially out in World, I've loved it. It's been really fun to play, so I don't know why they've not added more of it, to be honest. I would love it if they just added just a couple extra battle mode versions. For example, Bob-omb Blast or Shine Thief would have been amazing additions, but they just didn't add them. So I would love to see them in some sort of DLC. Additionally, something that I've been asking for ages for the next Mario Kart would be a Double Dash mode. Double Dash was such a unique game, and I feel like it's such a wasted opportunity to only ever add the Double Dash feature into Double Dash itself. Double Dash as a feature is just such a fun idea. Having 2 characters on one cart is just such a unique and wacky idea, and I would have loved to see them added. It would have been great to have 2 different characters on a single cart. It would have been amazing, especially with the large roster they've added into this game. You could have 24 players all playing different characters on their carts, and it would have been possible. You could have had a whole valley of players playing different characters on different carts, and it would have been amazing for the physics as well. The physics in Double Dash didn't allow you to hop hop with your cart, which probably makes sense because there's a whole 2 players on the cart. So being able to only slide around in your cart and slightly limiting the movement that way, I think could be amazing. It would be very interesting to see how people would have to get around tracks in a double dash mode where they're more sliding and slipping about instead of hopping all about and having more precise movements. The movements would have to be made a little bit more rugged and less precise than the normal movements in the game, and so it would be a bit more difficult in some areas. And in general, Double Dash is just a really fun game to play, and I would love to see them add some sort of Double Dash feature to the game. Being able to play as both Dry Bones and Luigi on the same car, or if they added him, Paratrooper, would be amazing, and I would love to see it. I know a lot of other people would love to see it as well. And it wouldn't detract from the game either, having a Double Dash mode that's separate. I would love to see it. I don't see anyone who wouldn't like to see it. There is another thing, however, that I'd like to see. It was more of a fix rather than an addition. Online mode, Nintendo, what's wrong with you? If you don't know, Nintendo kind of ruined the online for Mario Kart World. Instead of being able to just pick whatever track you want and have a normal 3-lap race, no, they force you to play intermission tracks. Now, what are intermission tracks, you might be asking? They're connection from one track to the other. So instead of, racing on an actual track, you're racing on the M25 around London. I don't know why they've done this. It is such a stupid idea. Nintendo, who wanted this? Who asked for this? And the thing is that they released an update at one point that actually lowered the chances of you getting a normal 3-lap race. For no reason, despite the fact everyone was saying they want more 3-lap races. We want 3-lap races! We want 3-lap races! We want 3-lap races! Okay, yeah, I think I'm hearing them. Yeah. I think they want more intermission tracks and straight lines. Fixing this would be such an easy and simple fix for Nintendo. It wouldn't even take them that much effort. All they'd have to do is add 2 different modes to Mario Kart World Online. Classic mode, Touring mode. In Touring mode, you'd play only the intermission tracks. You'd be going from one track to the other, to the other, to the other. That's simple, so they can have their intermissions. And in Classic mode, it'd be like Classic Mario Kart. 3-lap races only, no intermissions. You're just doing 3-lap races around every single track on the map. Honestly, I think that would have fixed online completely. But instead, the online servers are completely dead because they decided to force everyone to play on straight lines. If you don't know, most people actually moved over to the Mario Kart World Discord server, where people are now just exploiting REN codes and room codes in order to have 3-lap races, which I think is really funny. They managed to beat Nintendo in this way, but Nintendo's still not fixing it. I don't know why. It's such a simple fix, and everyone clearly wants it to happen, so I don't know why they've just decided to force people to play intermissions. So in the end, what would I want to see in a DLC package for Mario Kart World? Well, if there was a DLC package for Mario Kart World, the things I would want to see are some extra characters, extra tracks, new modes, and a fixed online. Those are the 4 main things. The extra characters I would want to see would be characters such as the extra Kongs that got cut for some reason, the Miis, Dr. Egad, Paratrooper, honestly every character's ever existed in Mario Kart before. When it comes to tracks, what I really want to see out of anything is 2 things. The first, of course, being Mushroom City! And the second being any Super Circuit track ever. Literally any of them. Personally, the ones I would want to see the most would be Yoshi Desert and Super Circuit's Rainbow Road, which are 2 of the better Super Circuit tracks. I love them so much. And for GCN, they could still add some more tracks like Bowser Castle or realistically Wario Coliseum, which would work so well with the new physics in the game. For extra modes, I would want a double dash mode where you can have 2 players in one cart, and instead of hopping in order to start a drift, you have to slide like in double dash, making the physics a little bit more difficult to maneuver around, but really fun. I would also want to see him add more battle modes, because he really only got 2, Balloon Battle and Coin Runners, and well, they had so many in 8 Deluxe. I would love to see a lot of those ones return. And finally, a fixed online mode. Simply, all I'd be asking for would be them to split the intermissions and the classic courses. One type mode for just 3-lap races, and another mode for intermission tracks. This would fix all the problems here. Hell, they could even have a mix mode if people want to play both of them. So that's why I bought the Mario Kart World DLC. I personally think it's a decent DLC package, and I would buy it. I think most people would buy this if this was in the DLC. Realistically, something like the fixed online should have been done ages ago, and really should just come in an update. However, all the other stuff like the extra tracks and extra content, that should be DLC. So, final verdict? Just fix online, Nintendo. It's such a simple fix. Everyone wants it. Why aren't you doing it?